Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Spanning the Need. I'm your host, Anthony Spano. Tonight, we got a great story and a great journey from the owner and president of 898 Marketing, Jeff Ryznar. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, Tony. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me. I know you have a very busy schedule, and we kind of have been trying to set this up for quite a while.
No, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you thinking of me and asking me to be a part of it.
I appreciate thanks. And Jeff, you actually have not been in marketing very long, at least with 898. So kind of tell us how you kind of got up to starting your own company and kind of where that started and how you are up till right now.
Yeah, no, we started this back in 2014, so we're just about 7 years, I should say 7 years in the making. So I'm still young in our journey at 898 Marketing, but my journey really started when I was 3 years old with my grandfather. My grandfather, when I was three, told me to point to three numbers on a card, and so I pointed to the numbers. What do we have? 898, and so he played that in the lotto every single day for me, and I had no idea what he was doing, but he was good with his money. He worked hard in the steel mills, and he knew how to invest his money. So fast forward when I was 13, I started cutting his grass, and he told me that, um, after I was done the one day cutting his grass, that he had this money set aside for me. And what he wanted me to do is he wanted to buy lawn care equipment and a truck for me. And when I turned 16, I was going to open up my own company for taking care of lawns. And I mean, I'm 13 at the time. All I heard was I was getting a truck. So Urson was going to be no big deal for me with a brand new truck, in my opinion. So,
Brand new
um,
truck, but with some equipment attached to it.
right, right. So, and he said he was going to do this for three reasons. Because one, I want you to know that God gave you gifts. And the second thing is that those gifts should not be kept to yourself. You should use them to serve others. And if you find something that you enjoy doing and you do it well enough, others will invest in you and you can make a living out of it. So fast forward from that point to 4 days before I turned 16 and my grandfather passes away, on the very front porch that he and I would sit and talk and share all of these stories and dreams and hopes and love about for each other. So um, it was a pivotal moment in my life, and I knew from that day forward that I was going to own something, whether it was going to be 898 car wash or dog walkers or laundromat or what ended up being 898 marketing, that it was going to remind me of that history and keep me grounded in the things that make me happy, and that the gifts that I've received from God are here to serve others. And so I graduated from Ursuline, graduated from Miami, and started in advertising. I was in New York, I was in Chicago, I was in Detroit. And while I was in Chicago, an opportunity came up for me to join the Cleveland Cavaliers in an introductory role in the NBA that they were trying out called the Director of Strategic Marketing. And I was going to be kind of like the guinea pig. I was going to be the first penguin to jump in the water and see if this position is something that could work for an NBA team. And so my responsibility was to develop the strategic marketing initiatives of the team, from ticket sales and giveaway items and partnering with promotions companies, to working with our corporate partners, our ticket sales teams, the Cavalier girls, the programs. Um, and then I got married, and all of a sudden the Cavalier girls were no longer a part of my repertoire there, which was okay. But
I can only
it was a
imagine how
fun
that
time.
was.
It was a fun time, and it was a dream come true to work for a team that you grew up loving. But there was more. There was more to it. There was more that I needed. There was more that I was being called to do and wanted to do, and it really helped establish a foundation whose visions and whose thoughts behind culture and how you conduct yourself and how you build a business helped grow into what we started in 2014 with 898 marketing. So,
And,
um,
and you actually had kind of, I hate to use the word epiphany.
oh
You
yeah,
kind of had, you kind of, something came about while you were working for the Caps.
yeah. I remember sitting. We had the office at the Cavs is amazing. It's an amazing culture, an amazing place to work. And I remember sitting in the lunch area where they have these colorful couches and chairs and tables. And I remember sitting there and jotting in my journal, and just tears started to come from my eyes. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I had this job. I had this opportunity. I was with the Cavs, but there was still part of me that was unfulfilled. There was still part of me that was missing something. And so I spent time trying to figure it out. And the team there was supportive, and they helped me find it. And I ended up, rephasing a new business and restarting a business out in San Francisco with two close friends of mine. And that is what really helped me see the jump and the leap that I could take, that the risk is definitely worth the reward. And I wasn't going to know until I tried. And it was really hard to walk away. It was hard to walk away from that dream that you, as a kid, you hope to play in the NBA or play NFL or play in the WNBA. And, you have these dreams that when you achieve them and you're a part of it, that you realize that there's so much more out there that you never knew that you wanted. So it was hard. It was really hard. But, you know, being true to yourself and understanding and listening to what you want to do with your life and what really motivates you. And I don't even like the word motivation, because I think motivation is fleeting. I think something that motivates you today won't motivate you tomorrow. But if you find a passion and you find something that truly is bigger than you are, that's more than anything you'll ever need to keep going and to find what it is that truly defines success in all of our worlds, whatever it may be.
Oh, there's someone else in the background I can hear.
No, I'm at my office, so you got me live and uncensored. So you're gonna get some people here talking, you're gonna get people walking through. So my family here in my office is just like my family at home. So they're a part of everything I do. So I hope that's all
So,
right.
it's just they're really loud. It's good time. Let's bring them into the screen. Got any dogs? They'll come walking through now.
We actually do have dogs that are in the office. Not today, but we usually do have dogs. So we have 3 or 4 dogs coming through.
Yeah, because we can hear there's someone overlapping somehow pretty loud. Um,
I
we
can't. I can't. I'm sorry, man. They're on the phone
Oh no,
doing
no,
work,
you're
so it's
fine.
not
Oh
working. I
no,
mean,
you're fine. Oh no, you're
so
good. Yeah, how was that jump from kind of where you were at the Cavs, very safe, adventurous job, to kind of going on your own and really starting your business? Kind of how were you nervous? Was it
oh yeah.
like, oh my God, like what am I going to do if I fail?
Oh yeah. I mean, I teach a class at Akron every semester, and the idea behind that class is an introductory marketing course. And that question always comes up. Were you worried? Were you afraid? Would you? And I said, failure's the best form of way to grow and to build. And I still worry about it to this day if I'm going to fail, because there's a wife in my life. There are 2 daughters who are my everything in my life, that I don't want to fail them. And now we have 19 people in our company besides me who I don't want to fail, plus the clients that we have. So failure is always an option, but it's something that addressing it and understanding it and realizing it is a good way to accept the outcomes of all possibilities that there are, but drive you to not even experience it because you're so focused on succeeding on what you set forth. So, to answer your question, yeah, I was scared as hell, man. I didn't know what I was going to do, forming an LLC and doing all that stuff. And, you know, I had no idea. It was just, all right, well, let's wing it. Let's figure it out. And it was the best experience. Honestly, it was scary, but like I said, at the time, it was, my wife and my 2 young daughters at the time, and their love and support is what really drove me, as well as the support of my other family members. And at the time, my father-in-law, who was still with us, he was really a helpful person to help me move forward. So,
Do you regret leaving the Cavs?
oh no, I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets. I think regrets are really something that, from an early age, I was taught by my mother and father not to have, because regrets make you lose focus on and be grateful for everything that you have now and those decisions which led you to where you are now. So no, I have no regrets. I have no regrets about the Cavs, about college, about decisions that I made and where I went. I mean, no, it landed me where I am, and I couldn't be happier. So there's nothing I could ever regret about being where I am.
So we know, as you know, we're still in the pandemic. Um, how has the pandemic changed the way you guys do business? Has it been a positive outlook, or has there been challenges? And what are some of those positives or negatives that have been happening for a small business that you said had under 20 employees?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course, it's been challenging. It's been challenging for everybody. The mental side of it, I think, has been the biggest challenging part. Is focusing on your day-to-day activities and what you're responsible for, while wondering, am I getting sick? Is someone else getting sick? There are exterior challenges and factors that you never thought would exist. So it changes the entire format of how you perceive your day-to-day occurrences and your interactions. And because of that, we've had to change our interactions. We've had to go virtual. We've had to work at home. Um, we've had to do things to make others feel safe and our own confidence to be at the highest it could be in doing what we do. We didn't lay anybody off. No one took a salary cut. No one took anything. And I promised all of these team members, I said, the only person that's going to be taking a cut is me. I will keep you whole. I will keep you here, and I will be committed to you through all of it. And we had great clients who stuck with us and saw the value and the significance that we brought. And just an incredible team that is so unselfish and so focused on the greater good of what we're here to do together, that it it, it really helped get us through it, and get us through it not only just to get through it and survive, but thrive during it. We had yet again another great year. We had another great opportunity with new clients, and even adding people on staff during the pandemic. So we've been very fortunate to be one of those stories that maybe isn't leading the it isn't one of the themes that leads the news coverage every day about the good things that are happening in our valley.
And I think when we look at a variety of communities and where that you're starting to see a huge need of food, of resources that the pandemic has really put on it, and
Hmm.
it's good that you've not been able to lay off people, that you've been able to make sure that they're staying on your social
Yeah.
distancing, and kind of how is that? You talked a little bit about that. You guys are family. You have you have
Oh
your
yeah.
family, and then you have your work family. How has that
Yeah.
really helped during the pandemic?
We're a support group. All of us have community goals that we do every year, and ways that we get involved. And during this pandemic, we've helped the United Way with food delivery and food stuffing. We've donated food and helped serve homeless people at Dorothy Day House. We've donated to charities and helped individuals, and we've done it together. And that's how we got through it. You know, this whole this whole pandemic and this whole year that we just thankfully got out of, was possible because we all did our part, whether it was wearing a mask and being safe and being socially distant, or helping a hand and lending a hand to someone in need if you can. So it was, you know, the only way we got through it was together, and that team, that aspect that we have here was a big part of reason why.
Have you guys gotten closer during the pandemic
Oh
as a
yeah.
group?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is amazing to see the bonding that goes on and understanding people. And you really see character when characters are pushed to the limit. um, you see what a person's made of when they're faced with adversity and faced with challenges. And not only do you see what they're made of, but you see how far a person's willing to go to help them during that time. And we were talking about 2021, and I told the team, I said, this is our roster. Like, this is who we're going into 2021 with. And we formed a team that is, I mean, not a weak link in it. And I'm really excited about approaching the work that our clients are asking us to do, the work our community is asking us to be involved in, with any single one of these individuals. I told them, I said, look, I trust all of you watching my two daughters. That's the confidence I have in every single one of them. And that to me is the ultimate form of confidence and respect, but also trust, that I would trust them with Mimi and Marin and Kira today if I had to.
Well, and I think let's kind of talk about a little bit like that. With the pandemic, we know that the just in general, you talked a
Mhm.
little bit about what you've given back and what some of the things that you guys have been doing to kind of really help the community. Have you seen other small businesses go out of business, or have you seen a lot of businesses gain? Because we've seen a mixture of some businesses have thrived during the pandemic, and some of them have
Yeah.
said, you know what, we just have to close. We just can't afford to stay open.
No, unfortunately, because of the way this pandemic is unraveling and being handled and the way that that's limiting engagement and exposure. Yeah, I've seen unfortunately businesses who were flourishing prior to this suffer and close their doors. There are other businesses who have thrived in it. There are other businesses who have, because of what the need is, who have been spawned out of it and created a whole new that weren't there prior to it. So with any change and with anything that happens, you're going to have a yin and a yang. You're going to have balance in some capacity. Um, the challenge is making sure we get balance back and that it doesn't go too far out of whack. I have restaurant owners and friends of mine of bars um, and retail outlets that just couldn't get by because their hands were being tied and they couldn't perform their business. So it really has run the gamut of, yeah, you see all those stories from one end of the prism to the other of how it's impacted people. And a lot of people, a lot of it's luck, to be honest with you. but
Yeah,
but
hit or miss.
what we say here, yeah, what we say, one thing that we tell our clients here is that it takes just as much energy to hope as it does to plan. And hope is not a successful business strategy. So being able to have that plan in place and for us to have worked at this, I mean, I'll be honest with you, back in December and January, I was looking at this and wondering what could be. I remember talking to my team in February and telling them, hey, want you guys to know, here's what's happening, here's what could possibly happen. Make sure you're stocked, you got food, you've got supplies, that you've got money saved up and you've got cash on hand. Like those small things back in February, we were sharing as a team because you just saw something. I mean, we just saw something happening. And it was good to just to plan as best as we could.
Yeah, I think
So
that kind of shows the strength of just kind of being united for a certain cause, no matter what that cause is, kind of rallying around the pandemic, but at the same time trying to do the best you could during difficult times.
yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back and talk about kind of how you changed from going with from the Cavs to the 898 marketing. You told
Hmm.
me in the past that you kind of did a SWOT of yourself. You kind of
Hmm.
did an
Oh yeah.
evaluation of yourself to kind of see
Oh
where
yeah.
you were going. Because I want people to understand, like, you as an individual can do this as well. And I think
Hmm.
this was a good story that I heard way back a long time ago. And I'd like to kind of share it with the viewers and kind of talk about how you came about, how you really kind of gauged the 8-9 marketing and really kind of said your strengths and weaknesses. Talk about how that transition helped you transition into 8-9 marketing and kind of what you did.
Yeah, no, when we started 898 marketing, it was really out of understanding first who I was and what I was hoping to deliver, and obviously what I could deliver. So, when you talk to businesses and you evaluate where they are, for those of you who don't know, there's what's called a SWOT analysis, where you look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And basically, I sat down and did that on myself, like me as a person. What were my strengths? What were my weaknesses? What were my opportunities? And what were my threats? And by going through that, it was a really good self assessment as to what my capabilities were, what my limitations were, and the glass ceiling that I felt like I was reaching really was shattered, and I could grow and I could do something more. So by doing that and understanding and having confidence in who I was and being honest with myself, that just made me more competitive and more driven to know what my capabilities were, to know what my limitations were, to know what the opportunities could be, and where I could set them and where I could grow. And that was the foundation of everything. The first step before I even open the doors is, okay, what can I do? What am I willing to do? What am I capable of doing? More importantly, what are the factors out there that could threaten me by not performing?
And I think that can show like anyone can just sit down and do that. Help with your family. Your
Oh,
family can
absolutely.
help you. Your
Oh,
friends
I've done
can.
it.
Well,
I do it
sometimes
with
the
my
friends
daughter.
I don't know about that. Sometimes the
Yeah.
friends will go. Sometimes the friends will do a little bit different than what you may want.
No, I mean, I do that. My daughters are 6 and 8, and I sit down and do a version of it with them. I ask them, you know, what are you most confident about in yourself? What do you think your best attribute is? Okay, where do you think you need to improve? Okay, what's the biggest opportunity that lies in front of you that you can achieve right now? And what's going to stop you from doing that? What's a threat that's going to prevent you from doing that? And you just understand the landscape of your own life. And it really is empowering because it puts things into perspective. A lot of times we put up these barriers and these challenges that don't exist. We feel that they're there, we think that they're there, but when we look around, the only thing holding us back is ourselves. So that self-assessment really does allow us to do more and to gain more, um, not having those limitations put on us.
So we know that when you were finished, you created 898 Marketing and kind of really blew it up from there. But what was the outcome of it with 89 Marketing? What did you learn from that exercise?
I knew that I was called to serve, and I still use that line to this day whenever someone joins our team. Um, every time we talk to a new client, I always tell them that we're called to serve, that we have talents and we have the unique abilities here to do things for others to help them succeed. And that was literally the core outcome. There was nothing else. It had nothing to do with business development or creativity or digital marketing or social media. What it came down to was it. That's what I discovered. That's what I figured, and that's that's what we that's what we built it on, and what we continue to build on.
And it seems, and we've talked a little bit in earlier in this broadcast, that you now have under about 19, 20 employees, and you kind of
Yep.
really branched down into different avenues of marketing. Talk a little bit
Yep.
about kind of how you've developed that over the years, and kind of where you are and what services that you've built.
Yeah, we when I started, I was okay just being me. And I said, I'm just going to have like 3 or 4 clients and that'll be it. And I don't want anything big. I was at large agencies. I was on Madison Avenue. I was in downtown Chicago. Like I was in Detroit, Michigan. I saw big agency life. I didn't want that. And I didn't want that because there was a lot of corporate bureaucracy that falls into that where you can't have that intimate feel. And so um, about a year and a half in, I brought on another individual, and for 4 years, almost 4 years, it was just she and me, and we were working together and just doing business consulting, strategic business development and planning, and really social media. Um, we had creative design services, but we outsourced them to contractors who we worked with, or video production that we outsourced to contractors we worked with. And then, you know, there was interest from others in joining. And so then we hired a graphics designer who's our design manager right now. And we hired a media buyer and a PR person. Um, and it was really a nice organic growth where people were asking to be a part of it. And so that's how we really started forming. Okay, well, we could do this. Well, we could do this. Well, this person wants to work with us and they're great at this. And so now we've developed our own digital team, our own web development team, our own design team, our own account managers, our own social media and content developers, and our own video production team, because these individuals bought into what we were trying to do here, which stemmed from one principle: called to serve. And we're called to do it in a place where we can grow. And that just means not only us as individuals, but our community as well. So, right now, you know, if there's a way to describe it, I guess you could say it's a full service marketing agency. What that means is anything you need from marketing and advertising to business development and consulting work, logos or content creation, we do it all in house. And it's been a great great ride, and it's been fun to watch it grow. And the core group of people who we have right now, I am excited to see what the next 7 years is going to bring.
Well, and that's actually a kind of rotating to what are some, normally I like to ask this question, but I think during pandemic you're kind of taking month to month right now and kind of figuring it out from there. But what can you kind of goals do you have for 2021 or the next quarter, just to kind of, we know, like we said, COVID kind of really screws up people's normal budgets, normal growing or partnerships. How is that kind of, how are you guys looking to the future?
Yeah, the first thing is we're not changing anything that we're doing. It's, I talked to Greg Greenwood, who's one of our clients and a good friend of mine, and we were talking about the election, and we are talking about what happens and the pandemic. And he gave me a great piece of advice. He still coaches me to this day. I pick up things from him. And what he said was, when you're a business owner, all you want to know are what are the rules that you have to play within? What are the rules and what's the playing field that you have to abide by? And then you go and continue on. That's it. Doesn't matter who the person is, doesn't matter what's going on. Like, as long as you know the rules, you can plan and succeed. So, excuse me, for 2021, we still have our goals for growth. We still have every single one of our team members. We just got done going through our growth. We call it a growth review. And every single team member has 898 goals. They have 8 professional goals, they have 9 community goals, and they have 8 personal goals. And a raise to their base salary is tied to each one of those sets of goals. And I have my own goals. I have my own 898 goals that I sit with 2 individuals and they hold me accountable. And we review those goals it's a trimester. Every 4 months, we sit down and review them. And at the end of the year, if you hit all your goals, you get that bonus and your salaries increase by that percent. Um, you know, for me, my goals are obviously much different than others. But my first goal that I wrote down from a professional side is to make sure every single one of them hits their goals. If that happens, I'm okay, because I know our business is okay, because I know that the individuals who are working with me are literally the best individual, not not marketer, not designer, not videographer. They're the best person they could possibly be this year because of what they've done here. And they're worth more than anything I could pay them if that's the case. So um, so that's how we're moving forward this year. Nothing changed. Budgets might change, your resources might change, but your plan doesn't change. Your focus doesn't change. And more importantly, the values and the culture that you create should never change.
Well, I think that's a really good philosophy, business philosophy that you're really putting forward towards your business as an owner and a president, that you kind of look at everything as a whole, not just one kind of section. You look at the whole
Oh
picture.
yeah. I got to. From my standpoint, that's why you create a team, right? Like, you have, even from we look at the Super Bowl right now, that just happened in February, and you look at Major League Baseball that's starting up and the NBA that's
Yeah.
going on. You have a general manager, you have a coach, you have players, you have everybody who plays their own role, but the role that they play is at different levels, so you could see what's happening. So yeah, I'm kind of the general manager. Like, I'm putting that team together and the pieces together that fit into the mold of what the managers here and the directors here want to achieve within those teams. Um, and it's fun, and it's competitive. It's really the adrenaline gets going, because you really want to win. And winning's not about beating somebody else. Winning's about literally being the best that you can and giving it all and seeing what happens.
Well, and I think that kind of flows to, you kind of have a really good journey and inspirational story of kind of how you got from the sports world to your own company. If anyone
Hmm.
wants to kind of start their own business, or they want to kind of do something similar to, what advice can you give them? What can you um, really give them that really help them go with how you kind of did it?
I would first say find something that you do that doesn't feel like a job. I don't feel like I've worked yet. I really don't feel like I started work yet at 898 Marketing. It's not a job for me. It really isn't. Um, and then I think, we touched upon it earlier. For those who might be just joining now, we touched upon that SWOT analysis, that strength, that weaknesses, those opportunities, and those threats, and seeing what your limit. We all have limitations. We all have things that we need to improve upon to be better at. And so understanding how those all play together with your strengths and where you're going and what you want to set up really does give you the confidence to know that whatever you do find as your passion, you're going to succeed at because you know the rules of the game. Um, I would also say that, for marketing, we say marketing is no longer about the things you sell or the stuff you make, it's the stories you tell. And so you have to find and create a culture that's meaningful and relevant to you. And more importantly, when you bring people on, which inevitably will happen, whether they're clients or team members, that they buy into that. They could go anywhere to get your service. They can go anywhere to
Hmm.
get what you're making or what you're selling. But they're buying you. They're buying what you do. They're buying who you are. And they're buying the idea that they're going to be a part of that. That's the most important thing. That if when you're looking at growing a business, like you want people to buy into what you believe and what you're doing just as much as you do. So that's a very big part of that puzzle that you're putting together.
Well,
And the last thing I
I
would say,
think
I'll say one more thing. It's something I took from the Cavs. Um, our
a
my
banner.
team's probably yeah yeah our team's probably sick of me saying this, but I always tell them money never leads, it follows. And it was advice that I got when I was at the Cavs that I continue to put into practice today. Money never leads, it follows. If you're making decisions solely on the basis of money, if you're making decisions and looking at things for the sole purpose of money, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to do things for something greater than that value. I work with Joe Moss, owns Blessed Body Fit, and he's a personal trainer who trains me, and he trains our company every Friday. We go to him as a group, and we work out together, and we exercise together. And he talks about God goals, things that are so bigger than you, so much bigger than the money you'll make and the accolades that you'll get, that it's actually a goal that you do need strength from some higher power, whoever that is that you believe in or what you do, and the outcome is greater than serving you a purpose. It's helping somebody else, and that's been that's been the goal. Is find those opportunities where what you do is more about a paycheck. It's more about the money and the revenue. It's about something bigger.
More of kind of almost like functionality. Is it? Would
Oh
that be
yes,
kind of? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I tell my team all the time. If you know, the minute we get a client, the first day we sign a new client is also the first day that we start to lose them, because no one stays with someone forever. Everybody changes. Everybody switches in this business, which is fine. But the idea is to find a way to make yourself significant. And I think that's what we excelled at during the pandemic. I think we found an opportunity to truly help our clients in a significant way. That when it came time to see the new rules and to see how the game was being played with new budgets and new constraints, that when they got to us as a line item, the thought was, can't do this without them. They're significant to our business. They're significant to us moving forward. That to me was the biggest pride that I took out of 2020. That there were those individuals and companies who trusted us so much that we were that significant to their business, that even though it was a challenge and sometimes probably a sacrifice, that they knew that this is something that we need. And that's probably the biggest testament to every single person in this company,
Well,
how
and
we
I
got
think
to where we are and where we are.
And I think talking with a lot of people in 2020 and now is when 2020 hit, people were looking for those friendly faces. They
Oh,
were looking for the, hey, I need help. I know, as I know you do this. Can you help me out, or something along the lines? Has that come true to you as well?
biggest. You want to know the biggest skill that someone's going to need moving forward after this pandemic? Empathy.
Well, yeah,
Empathy. It's putting yourself in someone else's shoes and truly understanding what they're going through. You don't have to sympathize with them. You don't have to be able to say, "I know what you're going through. I've done it. I've been there." No, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is say, "Man, this shit's pretty crazy. I'm sorry you're going through it, but I'm here to help you out. How can I help you?"
yeah. And I think that that's kind of a good summation or summarizing of what's kind of been happening. And I think you see a lot of people in the last year stepping up or trying
Mhm.
to step up in a way possible that they can handle something with maybe not going out to somewhere or being able to do something differently than they may not have normally done. That people
Yep.
were just, hey, I'm just sitting home now. All of a sudden, hey, I need to volunteer. I want to help. I know what's going through. You need food. We'll get you signed up. We'll send you the right resources. We'll put a web page or a Facebook group together so everyone can share. Hey, if you need something, one of those people can hopefully pick it up.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Jeff, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. This
Oh,
was a
anything
great
for you,
talk.
Tony.
I This was a great talk. I really appreciate you. And if someone wanted to get a hold of you for advice or anything, how would they get a
Yeah.
hold of you?
They could go to our website, 898marketing.com. You can connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter. Um, it's Jeff Ryznar, and it's Ryznar. I don't know. It's not that hard to pronounce or spell, but it's the curse I carry is the Ryznar curse, I say. But you can find me there. But literally, go to 898marketing.com, follow us on social media channels, and trust me, there's a way to get a hold of me through all of those. Not too hard to find. So I
If
appreciate
not,
it though,
just
Tony.
Google
I'm
you.
happy. Yeah, just Google me, but don't look at the pictures. Don't look at the pictures. That was a long time ago, and no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So, um,
Well,
but no,
like
Tony, I
like
appreciate you thinking of me. I appreciate
not
you
a
thinking of
problem.
me and
Like I
asking me to be
normally,
on here, man.
yeah, anytime, because I liked your story, and I think people should understand because we're going through this, and everyone's kind of going through it together. I don't care what your political affiliate or
Hmm.
anything like that. We're all going through this together, agree to disagree. So
Hmm.
I appreciate you taking time and everyone watching. At the end of each broadcast, I like to ask 5 questions to have a little fun. You up for it?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, so the answer, there's no right or wrong answer. It could either be
Okay.
professional or personal. So either it could doesn't matter.
Okay.
So what's your best accomplishment?
My two daughters.
Okay, not that's fine. What's your best memory?
Uh, wow. I'm gonna have to
These are harder
say,
questions than the original ones, huh?
yeah, yeah. My best memory is probably seeing those doors open at St. Dom's and seeing my wife walk down that aisle. That's probably my best memory.
Did you cry? I did.
Oh, I did. Oh, absolutely, I cried. Absolutely, I cried. Here's the other thing. So Mimi, my wife is not a crier, and my groomsmen, um, they're like, let's put a bet. Let's see if Mimi's gonna cry. So I was like, oh, she's gonna cry. Like, there's no doubt she's gonna cry. So if and they said, no, she's not. I was like, no, she's going to. So there was no loss on my end, but they said, look, if Mimi cries, we'll give you $1,000. We'll all pony up. There's five of us. We'll all pitch in $200 and we'll give you $1,000 walking off. As you walk off, we will hand you $1,000. You walk down the aisle if she cries. But the only caveat was I couldn't tell her. Had to be
Oh,
organic. Couldn't tell her. So we're sitting on the altar at St. Dom's, and um, my two aunts are singing, and they have beautiful voices. Colleen McNally Harris and Sharon Crystal have beautiful voices, and they're singing Ave Maria, and
Oh, that's a gorgeous
Mimi's
song.
dad, yeah, and Mimi's dad starts tearing up, and I look over, and I swear I'm like, Mimi's about to lose it, and I see all five of my groomsmen do this in the pew, and all of a sudden Mimi grabs my hand, she squeezes it, and then the moment passed, and all five groomsmen just go like this. It was awesome from the standpoint like seeing them so engaged and seeing it. But I literally, we got in the limo. I said, Mimi, you cost me $1,000. Like literally, we had $1,000 in our pocket. All you had to do was shed one tear. She goes, huh? She goes, that's what you married. I was like, all right, that's cool. So, but it was awesome. You talked about your best memory. The so not many people know this. After our wedding, we're at St. Dom's and we're getting pictures, and an ice cream truck starts pulling by. St. Dom's, for those of you who might not know, is on the south side on Lucius Avenue, and there's an ice cream truck
Gorgeous
that pulled by.
church.
So all of us are outside taking pictures, and this ice cream truck stops, and about 20 kids come running. Right, about 20 kids come running, and um, they're all getting ice cream, and Mimi and I just looked at one another, and we're like, let's just buy them all ice cream. So we bought all of these kids ice cream. We bought all of our bridal party ice cream, and we have this picture of she and me standing with an ice cream sandwich in front of this ice cream truck at the steps of St. Dom's, and it's one of the happiest pictures I've seen of she and me, like top three pictures that I have of us, and it was just a really cool moment, and I think it really defined and really showed the relationship that she and I have and our thoughts about life and about each other. So it was really cool. So
Yeah.
sorry, that was a long answer. Number two, you got question number three. Go.
No, no, I thought that, but that's stories that people like, especially the grand. Um,
Yeah,
tell her she just owes you $1,000.
yeah. No, no. I owe her way more than she owes me. Trust me, I owe her
Yeah.
way more. So,
What's your best experience?
oh man, my best experience. Um, I'd probably say this journey with 898 marketing. I would probably say that because it's been so full of ups and downs and doubts and accomplishments and opportunities that it was been so rewarding, and to do it in my hometown, like to do it where I grew up, where everybody says, why are you there? Nothing can happen. You can't do it in Youngstown. You got to be. No, we're doing it right here. I think that's my best experience. Like it's above and beyond what happened at the Cavs or who I've met or where I've traveled. No, it's being able to call home home again and make a living here.
Well, I think nowadays with technology, just because you're in Youngstown doesn't mean you can have a client and
Uh,
can't have a client in Akron, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Chicago, as long as the
yeah,
client's okay with that.
yeah.
Who's your role model?
I have four role models: my dad, my two grandfathers, and my uncle. That's who I wanted to be like when I grew up. And two of them are passed in terms of my grandfather. My uncle and my dad, though, are still my role models. I mean, when I grew up, I didn't have pictures of Michael Jordan or Bo Jackson or anybody else on my walls. Like, I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be like my uncle who raised five kids and put them all through Catholic school and college. And I wanted to be like my two grandfathers who served in the military and worked in the steel mill and raised kids and raised a family, and were always there with a hug and a smile, and never ever went a day without seeing me and telling me they love me. Like
And you're
that.
and you're an Ursuline
That's it.
grad too, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, through and through. Yeah. That's
Yeah, if you don't know what that means, you'll have to look it up, everyone.
yeah. Look up the U. If you don't
Yeah,
know,
well,
you don't
and I
know.
married
Yeah.
and I married an Ursuline girl too. So
See,
yeah, I'm a public school guy.
that's okay. That's all
Well,
right. You're a
I
Youngstown
have to
guy.
ask
That's
this
all that
question.
matters.
Do you still have the truck that your grandfather gave you back in the day?
True story. Never got the truck. Never got any of it. Never got any of it once he died. But what I did get was that money that he had set aside helped pay for my college.
Hmm.
And it did buy me a car, a brand new car when I turned 18. My mom got me a car with that money. And the money that he saved was actually used to pay for my education at Miami of Ohio. So he lived up to his promise and then some, because he truly did pave the way for me to be doing what I'm doing right now, which is why we call it 898 marketing.
There you
It's
go.
homage to him. So
So, okay, here's this question kind of makes people really think about it. So, if there was one person you'd want to meet, past or present, who
mhm.
would it be and why?
Man, that's a great question. Um,
Because now it opens up that it could be anyone.
um, I mean, I do have an answer, but I'm trying to think if there's another one. I do have an answer, and I had it right when
Okay.
you said it. Um, yeah, it would probably be Jesus,
Okay.
and I would probably ask him only one question, and that's, how did you not ever ask the question why? Never ask the question why. He just did it without hesitation. Everything. Um, and that's a hard thing for any human to really understand. The idea that we're called to do something, and we're called to serve and be something bigger than we can possibly be. And in his case, to give up, his life for the service of others and never asked why. And that'd be, and how to turn water into wine, because that would save on the budget a little bit at the household. But yeah, those would be the two things. I would
Just
I
throw
definitely
that
like to
second
take
question
the time
in
with
there.
him.
That's all. Just after
Yeah,
you,
just
just
throw it in
before
there.
you leave, I got one more question for you.
One more question. One more question. How do you change this Brita into a silver oak bottle? How do we do that? So
Yeah. Well, I think what you show is there are people around that we probably know that what is that direction that he wants you to go? It's like,
yeah,
okay, what am I here for? And I think that's where some people like, well, what am I here? Am I supposed to do this? Supposed to do that? So it's like, ask the question, like, just please tell me what you want me to do.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
much easier.
It's funny because I think we're all, the hardest part of any part of conversation is listening. It's the hardest thing to do.
Hmm.
And so oftentimes we don't listen. We don't listen well at all. A lot of the problems that we have right now, you mentioned, about political sides and things like that. Whatever your side, I think there's just a problem listening. And if we did that better, it would make a lot of the problems we have, I think, go away much quicker. So yeah, those are my five answers. T.
Well, I appreciate you taking time and thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this great episode, Jeff. It was great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I appreciate you, man.
For more podcast interviews and announcements, go to anthonyvspano.com. Everyone stay safe and